there's a moose, there's a moose. I'm Josh Carlson. I'm from originally from Wollongong, Australia, and now I live in Vancouver, BC in Canada. I ride for the Giant Factory off-road team, focusing on enduro. This opportunity that I have right now to be a professional mountain bike rider racing around the world is amazing, and I am so grateful for this opportunity and taking advantage of it at every chance I can get, because this doesn't happen to everyone, kind of thing. But the goal is, I want to win races, and now this new Enduro World Series is here. That's what I want to win. That's what I want to do. It's like, I don't know, winning is a double-edged sword for sure. I think if you've never tasted it, it's probably the good thing, because you never want it. You never want it as bad as when you've tasted it. As soon as you've tasted it, man, it's just like a drug that you just can't let go of, and you just want it really, really bad. And maybe that's led me to the position where I'm sitting right now, busted kind of out of this year's series, but it's also made me hungrier than ever to think about it and make it happen. Downeyville 2011 and Ashland 2011 was definitely some pivotal moments in my career that's kind of led me to here, kind of thing. Like, Ashland was my first taste of like Super D racing and gravity racing sort of thing, like coming from a cross-country background. I've never raced downhill. I've raced one downhill race in 2009 or 2008 maybe, where I just borrowed a mate's downhill bike and just raced the downhill, as well as the cross-country at the Oceanias at Thredbo one year. And then I haven't done downhill at all. So yeah, racing that, and it was like a 35-minute descent all the way from the top of Mount Ashland down. That like opened my eyes to just how rad it is, and it was really good. And I got a pretty good result there. I ended up 4th, about 30 seconds behind Adam Craig, and that's when I got a taste for it and was like, yeah, this is sick. I want to have a go at this some more. Then that progressed onto Downeyville a couple of weeks later, and ended up getting 2nd in the cross country on the Saturday's race behind Carl Decker. And then on the Sunday I was feeling great. I was probably overconfident and tried too hard, kind of thing, because I ended up like obliterating my rear wheel and getting 3 or 4 flats within my run, and yeah, it just ripped my heart out. Like, I was coming down the trail and feeling really, really good, riding pretty quick. Well, I thought I was riding pretty quick at the time, and yeah, just to hear that and stands pissing out everywhere, and it just broke my heart. So then after that, like, that's it. That's what I wanted to do. So yeah, after 2011, I broke myself pretty good, and I hit my head really hard, and it was it was a big crash. But just that hunger to want to do that enduro and do Super D, and like, I knew it was coming. Speaking to Joe Stubb, my team manager, and a couple of the guys involved in the scene, they kind of knew that enduro was about to evolve, and we'd sat down and spoke to each other for a while, and he also helped me come up with this plan to move to Canada or move to America to have a crack at it. Because he was like, enduro is going to explode. Come up with this plan to move to Canada or move to America to have a crack at it. And yeah, well, Lisa, my fiance Lisa, and I were literally sitting at a Sydney Swans AFL match in Sydney, sitting there watching this. And she knew that I wanted to go back over and wanted to have another crack and have a real crack at it. Go back to America and do this. And she was like, well, why don't we both go? We got no ties, we just got jobs, but we can give them up. And she's a primary school teacher. She can work anywhere in the world, kind of thing. And I wanted to make this happen. She's like, why don't we both go? And we're like, righto. This was like, I think it was maybe September or October of 2011. What about Canada? What's that place like? Like, well, the mountain biking's pretty good. Whistler's there, North Vancouver's there. Can't be a bad thing. It's close to an international airport. It's close to the border. It's easy to get down the west coast where majority of these races were going to be. And yeah, we looked into that place, and so it was kind of a pretty wild decision to make, just to go to a brand new country, brand new city, and just hit reset and start fresh. Just land there with the bags you have on your back. We had no winter clothes. We just had like a couple of hoodies, a couple of sets of jeans, and some Ugg boots, and that was it. And we were freezing. It was so cold when we showed up. Freezing rain, freezing wind, and we were just like, way out of our depth at the time. From the outside, it's funny. It looks like it all worked out really smoothly, and sweet, she got a great job at a private school teaching kindergarten kids. It's amazing. You got a contract with Giant racing bikes around the world. You're living the dream. But what they don't see is like, we went there with just the savings that we had. Like, we sold our cars, we quit our jobs, we saved our asses off to have as much money behind us as we could. And then we got there, and we had to fit out, find an apartment to live. We had to fit out the apartment to live in. We had to get a car to get around. Giant Bicycles Australia supported me for all my racing for 2012, which was great. They were awesome with it. They fully supported my idea to move to Canada, and I explained to them what I wanted to do, and about February of 2012, I'd spoken to the Giant Factory Off-Road team and told them what I was doing, and hey, I'm coming over to live in Canada, I'm going to focus on enduro. They were like, sweet, look, let's hook you up with a support ride. We can supply you with parts and some entry fees, and when it fits, like, come and stay with us for our accommodation, and sweet, happy days. And that was all cool, but we didn't have any income for most of the year, kind of thing. So it's like, got to the point like where, do we really need to fill the car up? Like, well, do we have to go shopping for this week, kind of thing? You know. And another thing that added to not the tension, but just the situation of, whoa, we dipped down to like the line of where, if this doesn't happen, then we're going home. That's it. Like, get rid of the car, sell our apartment, the shit in it, and we're going home. And then I had a couple of bad races at around this time, like Winter Park Enduro. I had a couple of flat tires there, and just riding like a dick and trying to ride too hard, and that put me like outside the top 20. And then Downeyville, went back to Downeyville. I think I finished third or maybe fourth in the cross country on the Saturday with a leaking front tire. Sunday, same deal. Felt great in the downhill and just obliterated my bike. But so that happens. That was strike two. Went to Crankworks up in Whistler. Was sitting in a good position. I won stage 3 of that enduro up there, and then the final stage I was feeling great, feeling really, really good. Come down this hill, I think I hit like 85 k's an hour coming down this section. Hit a rock, totaled my front wheel, flat tire, race over. So I had a few, like 3 of the biggest races of the year, and they all just were my worst results ever, kind of thing. And then it got to like August, and I was kind of feeling pretty down and thinking, then it was the other side of the confidence wave, like, maybe this isn't happening, maybe I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. You start to get down yourself, start to doubt yourself. And then you had a good chat with Joe, my team manager, and we started talking about 2013 and talking about what Giant thought and stuff like that. And he put me in a much better place and made me relax, and to know that, Giant Global were looking at me for the next year, and I was actually doing pretty good. Like, they were pretty happy with what I was doing. Up until 2012, I'd never rode a bike bigger than 4 inches. I just rode Anthem, and that was it. And then to get on these bigger bikes, every race I went to, I was learning about how to set up suspension, what tire pressure to run, like what I can do to a bike, and how to build a bike that can withstand how I ride, sort of thing. That sounds silly, but I don't seem to ride a bike like a normal mountain bike rider, sort of thing. Maybe that's from my motocross background, kind of thing, and I think it is for sure. So we were learning each race, and all these fails, which in my mind were, huge fails, and I was really disappointed with it. But in Joe's mind, it was great because we were learning how to make me finish a race. That all came together. I returned to the final North American Enduro Tour finals in Mount Hood, Sandy Ridge in Oregon, and won I think 4 out of the 7 stages, and put a minute maybe into the competition, and finished the season on a massive high. It felt great. I had my bike set up. I felt great. Me and Fenner's training that we were doing was paying off, and it was actually working. And then all of a sudden, I went to Vegas in a bike and got to meet with Giant, and same deal. And then the process went on, and got offered a contract with the factory off-road team for 2013, 2014, and